Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to Pakistan Embassy. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of Dr. Asad Majid Khan, Ambassador of Pakistan to US, to a special event to highlight Indian atrocities in Kashmir. We have today a unique honor to have among us Honorable Shahryar Khan Afridi, Chairman Parliamentary Special Committee on Kashmir. We are also joined by Pakistan's former Foreign Secretary, Ambassador Jalil Abbas Jilani, who will begin today's proceeding with the recitation from Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
May I now request Ambassador Dr. Asad Majid Khan to come on stage and welcome honorable guests.
Assalamu alaikum and very good evening and welcome to the Embassy of Pakistan this evening, and thank you very much for joining us in welcoming Honorable Shahryar Khan Afridi, Chairman, Federal Minister, Member National Assembly, Chairman Special Committee, Parliamentary Committee on Kashmir. We also have the honor and privilege of welcoming my former boss and Pakistan's ambassador to Washington DC, Ambassador Jalil Abbas Jilani, and then of course former Foreign Secretary also. But we are also equally delighted to welcome two stalwarts of Kashmiri struggle for freedom, two individuals who have devoted their life to become the voice of voiceless Kashmiris. And I welcome Dr. Ghulam Nabi Faiza and Dr. And you know, the other day when I attended the World Kashmir Awareness Forum, I was reflecting on the subject of promoting awareness about Kashmir and about what is happening in Kashmir, and why is it so important to continue to work on that. Because clearly today, the repression, the Indian repression in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir continues. But then at the same time, it is not the headline news here. Gradually and frankly, it has receded from the charts here, both on the Hill and in the media and amongst the influential opinion makers also. So what is it that we can do to bring the atrocities in Kashmir to the attention of the policy influencers and the policy makers in the United States? And I was also reflecting about October, because this month of October occupies a very special place in the history of Kashmir. And I don't know how many of you here are aware of the significance and importance of October 27, the Black Day in the history of Kashmir, when Maharaja signed the accession, allegedly, and the entry and occupation of Kashmir by the Indian forces. And the other aspect that struck me the other day was the presence of one generation of Pakistani Americans and Kashmiris who have experienced Indian repression, who have witnessed the atrocities that they commit, but at the same time, the absence of adequate number of younger Kashmiri Americans and Pakistani Americans who may not have seen what happens in Kashmir, who may not be aware, and therefore needs to be educated. And I think in Pakistan, we have taken the first step in that direction by bringing on board a youthful chairman of the Special Committee on Parliamentary Affairs. Mr. Shahryar Afridi represents the new generation. He brings his youthful energy and passion to the cause of Kashmir. And I think that is what we need to do here also in co-opting more of the new generation, because I think it's very, very important to advocate the cause of Kashmir here in this country. For the simple reason that United States of America still is the preeminent power. United States of America is a country that still sees Kashmir as a disputed territory. United States is a country which still wields perhaps more influence today on all the key players in regard to Kashmir than it ever did. And that's why I think it is important to engage. And our diaspora, I am a personal witness to that. And Ambassador Jilani has been himself a very strong and ardent advocate of Kashmir over his entire diplomatic career. But in my time here, August 5 happened. The unilateralism that the world saw and witnessed, and the response from our diaspora, from the Kashmiri diaspora, from the Pakistani diaspora, was remarkable. But perhaps we have not been able to maintain that same level of intensity that we ought to have, because India has not relented. The Indian government has not changed the tack. In fact, they have actually increased further their oppression. And Pakistan, consistent with the Prime Minister's promise of being the ambassador of Kashmir, has raised it. The Prime Minister did that in 2019, the Prime Minister did that in 2020, and he did that this year also. And this year in particular, we presented to the world community the dossier listing, inventorizing the whole range of atrocities that are being committed. And I think advocating Kashmir is also important because it basically promotes the cause of peace also, because we all are aware that Kashmir is home and neighbor to 3 nuclear powers, to a region which has 3 nuclear powers: China, India and Pakistan. So between India and Pakistan, unless and until Kashmir issue is resolved, we will not be able to see sustainable peace. So advocating Kashmir here also serves the cause of peace in South Asia. And that's what we need to tell our second generation of Kashmiri and Pakistani Americans. I think advocating Kashmir also serves the cause of prosperity and development in our part of the world. Because we have fought for too long without any result or outcome. And as long as Kashmir festers, we are not going to see peace. And as long as we don't have peace, we will not be able to put all our energies behind development and prosperity for the people of Pakistan and South Asia. And I think with that in his mind, the Prime Minister had said that instead of, even before taking over as Prime Minister, he had extended a hand of friendship to Prime Minister Modi. And in that, he had said that instead of fighting each other, it is time for us to fight poverty. And I think advocating the cause of Kashmir also helps us to advance the cause of prosperity and development in our countries and in South Asia. So in this backdrop, we have very eminent, distinguished speakers who are much better qualified to speak on Kashmir than I am. I once again thank you all for joining us in honoring the chairman and in reflecting collectively on what we can do to help the voiceless Kashmiris and what we can do to more effectively advocate the cause of Kashmir here in the United States of America. So thank you very much once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now request Dr. Ghulam Nabi Fai to come on stage and deliver his remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Shahryar Afridi Sahab, Excellency Ambassador Asad Majid Sahab, dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Our honorable guest Shahryar Afridi Sahab, he conveyed me a message that I should speak on October 7th event. October 27th, 1947 is the day when Kashmir was occupied by Indian soldiers. October 27th, 1947 is the day when the very first Indian soldier set a foot on the soil of Kashmir. India claims that the ruler of Kashmir, Maharaja, he signed the instrument of accession that made Kashmir legally part of India. Let us reflect on that claim and try to see it from a rational point of view. I am going to just present to you 4 or 5 points. Then you decide whether the claim of India is correct or not. The point number 1, one of the very famous jurists of Kashmir, who was born in the capital city of Srinagar, but later he became the Chief Justice of Azad Kashmir, Justice Yusuf Saraf. He wrote a history of Kashmir, Kashmiris Fight for the Freedom. He said it was October 25th, 1947, that our brothers from Punj, which is today Rawalakot in Azad Kashmir, they were serving in the army of Maharaja, and they revolted against Maharaja. That was October 23rd, 1947. These dates are very important. Then under the leadership of Major Anwar, Khurshid Anwar, they were able to destroy all the roadblocks and cross Kohala. Kohala is very important. It's a bridge, but it is very important bridge because that was the link between Poonch and the valley of Kashmir. They crossed it, and there was a very important brigadier from army of Maharaja, Brigadier Rajendra Singh, and he was killed on October 25th, 1947. He was the who's who of the army of Maharaja. It sent the shock waves not only to Maharaja but his army. So his army surrendered the way the army of Afghanistan surrendered in past 1 month. Not a single soul was seen as the army of Maharaja. October 25th. So Maharaja has no choice but to leave Srinagar, go to Jammu. And according to Alistair Lamb in Birth of Tragedy, page number 85, he said Maharaja left Srinagar on October 26 at 9 in the morning with his family and with more than 200 truckloads of whatever, gold, jewelry and belongings and whatnot. The weather was not favorable and the roads were not that good. So he had to stay overnight at a place most of the brothers here know. It's known as Patni Top, which is 770 miles away from Jammu. And next day, which is October 27 in the morning, he reached Jammu. Now point number 2. India says, official version of India, that Maharaja signed the instrument of accession in presence of 2 people. Meher Chand Mahajan, who was the Deputy Prime Minister of Maharaja at that time, and VP Menon, who was the Secretary of Interior of Government of India. So if he signed it in front of 2 people, that's what we need. Even for the marriage in Islam, you need just 2 witnesses. But ladies and gentlemen, the problem is, Meher Chand Mahajan, he wrote a book. In that book, he said, I was not in Jammu on October 26, 1947. He's not quoted by someone else, this is his book. But what about one witness, that is VP Menon? The British High Commissioner or High Commission in India, British High Commission in India, they said there is no way that VP Menon could have left New Delhi on October 26, 1947, because his all activities, they were visible to us means British High Commission. Point number 3. Andrew Whitehead, the correspondent of BBC for 35 years, he said, I approached the government of India. I would like to have a look of the original document of instrument of accession. He said, India said no. I said, why not? He said, because it is classified. You cannot see it. If it gets declassified, we will let you know, but right now it is classified. Point number 4, Alistair Lamb. Again in the Birth of Tragedy, he said the claim of India that Maharaja signed the instrument of accession is bogus. Why? He said, it is Birth of the Tragedy, page number, it may be 89 or 90. He said, I approached government of India, I would like to examine the original copy of instrument of accession. India told Whitehead, it is classified. But they did not tell it to Alistair Lamb. They told Alistair Lamb the original has been stolen. It is in the book. The original has been stolen. We don't have the original with us. The point number 5. Assuming that the instrument of accession was really signed by Maharaja, but it was accepted by Lord Mountbatten, who was the Director General of India at that time. It says, I accept it subject to the reference of the people. It has to be ratified by the people of Kashmir. Now you may be wondering why reference to the people of Kashmir. Because as you know, Kashmir was not the only state which had to decide whether to go to India or Pakistan. There were more than 560 states. But two were very unique, Hyderabad and Junagadh. Hyderabad and Junagadh, they were Hindu-dominated areas. But the ruler was Muslim. So they acceded to Pakistan. They did the same thing. They signed the instrument of accession to Pakistan. India said it cannot happen. Ruler has no right to decide the fate of the state. It has to be by the people. The referendum took place. Hyderabad and Junagadh became the part of India because the people decided to be the part of India. So that's why they have to say the reference to the people of Kashmir while signing the instrument of accession. Point number 6. Assuming that the accession of Kashmir was really legal, then it is India, ladies and gentlemen, which brought the issue of Kashmir to the United Nations, not Pakistan, India. And what happened at the United Nations, that's very interesting. And who was the delegate of India? Sir Kuplaswamy Iyengar. Very important name. Every ambassador to United Nations is very important. For that matter to Washington DC. But Kuplaswamy Iyengar was extraordinary because of two counts. Number one, he has been the Prime Minister of Maharaja from 1937 to 1943. And number two, you have heard the Article 370, which was abrogated 2 years back, Article 370. Who drafted that Article 370? It was Sir Kuplaswamy Iyengar. He drafted that, he wrote that article in the Constitution of India. And he told India you can have control only on defense, foreign affairs and communication. Anything else, it had to be recommended and ratified by the Constituent Assembly of Kashmir. By the way, that does not exist anymore. What did Kuplaswamy Iyengar say at the United Nations? Very important. On January 15, 1948, if accession is final, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to be an Einstein to understand. If accession is final, why should Kuplaswamy Iyengar say on January 15, 1948 at the Security Council, these are the words: whether Kashmir remains with India or accedes to Pakistan or becomes independent and seeks the membership in the United Nations, Indian delegate, it must be decided by the people of Kashmir. By the way, I would like to mention here, there are more than 100 international conflicts. Kashmir is the only conflict in the history of United Nations. The only conflict in the history of United Nations where the solution of the problem was suggested by the parties themselves. There is no other international conflict where the parties suggest the solution. The two-nation theory of Palestine, Israel, by the way, they accepted it, but Israel did not suggest it. Kashmiris need to be given the referendum and the right to self-determination proposed by India, accepted by Pakistan. And the last point, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have to really laugh. Now Kashmir says, India says Kashmir is the integral part. And you tell me, ladies and gentlemen, who can define whether Kashmir is integral part of India or not? Not say really Gilani, may Allah bless his soul. Not Dr. Ghulam Nabi Mir, not Shahada Afridi, no. You know who defined whether Kashmir is the integral part of India or not? Antonio Guterres. the Secretary General of the United Nations. Here we have Modi abrogating Article 370-35A and dissolving the issue of Kashmir. Antonio Guterres said, not so fast. It had to be resolved under UN Charter and under applicable United Nations Security Council resolution. So my last point, ladies and gentlemen, is that under all these international agreements, by the way, there are 18 of them, which were negotiated by the United Nations, which were accepted by the Security Council, they were agreed upon by both India and Pakistan. Today, when I am talking to you, ladies and gentlemen, as Ambassador Asad Wajid mentioned very correctly, our administration, whether it was Trump or Obama or Clinton or Biden or whatnot, you know what is their policy today? India and Pakistan have to decide the future of Kashmir after taking into account the wishes and the will of the people of Kashmir. So today when I am talking to you, Kashmir does not belong to any member state of the United Nations, officially. So if Kashmir does not belong to any member state of the United Nations, then the claim that Kashmir is integral part of India does not stand. With that, thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, sir, for giving us a detailed historical perspective of the Kashmir dispute. I now request Ambassador Jalil Abbas Jilani to come on stage and deliver his remarks.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। इज़्ज़त माब जनाब शहरयार आफरीदी साहब, वफाकी वज़ीर और चेयरमैन पार्लियामेंट की कश्मीर कमेटी, डॉक्टर असद मजीद साहब, एम्बेसडर ऑफ पाकिस्तान, डॉक्टर गुलाम नबी फ़ाई साहब, मेरे बहुत ही काबिल एहतराम मेरे भाई और मेरी बहनें जो यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं, मैं समझता हूँ कि आज की जो तकरीब है, मैं अपने आप को बहुत ही खुशकिस्मत समझ रहा हूँ कि कश्मीर से मुतल्लिक़ मैं इस तकरीब का में हिस्सा ले रहा हूँ। मैं खुशकिस्मती इस बात की समझता हूँ कि मेरी तकरीबन 40 साल की जो सफारती मेरी सफ़र था, उसमें तकरीबन आधा सफ़र मेरा कश्मीर और कश्मीर के साथ। मैं कश्मीरी अवाम ने अपने इस जो आज़ादी की जंग लड़ी, मैं ये तो क्लेम नहीं कर सकता कि वो मैं उसका कहीं भी मुकाबला कर सकूं, क्योंकि जो जज्बा शहादत और जज्बा आज़ादी कश्मीरियों में मैंने देखी अपने 4 साल के जो हिंदुस्तान में पोस्टिंग के दौरान, और उसके बाद मैंने जब डायरेक्टर जनरल साउथ एशिया रहा पाकिस्तान में, तो मैं समझता हूँ कि उसकी नज़ीर पूरी इंसानी तारीख़ में नहीं मिलती। उन्होंने, कश्मीरियों ने जो इंडियन कंट्रोल था वो उसको कभी भी एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया था। लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ कि मेरी थोड़ी सी जो सी है उस जज्बे आज़ादी में, वो थोड़ी सी कंट्रीब्यूशन मेरी भी है। मेरी कंट्रीब्यूशन इस तरीके से बनती है कि मैं ना सिर्फ, जिस तरह मैंने बताया कि मैं जब वज़ारत ख़ारजा में कश्मीर का डेस्क बना, तो मैं सबसे पहला डायरेक्टर उस कश्मीर के डेस्क का मैं था। और जब मेरी हिंदुस्तान में पोस्टिंग हुई तो कश्मीरियों के साथ एक करीबी एक ताल्लुक़ वास्ते की वजह से, और डॉक्टर गुलाम नबी फ़ाई साहब यहाँ पे तशरीफ़ रखते हैं, इनको मैं बहुत ही उस ज़माने से जानता हूँ, 90 की दिहाई से, और ग़ालिबन ये इस बात को की गवाही देंगे कि मेरी बहुत ही करीबी वाबस्तगी रही, चाहे वो सैयद अली शाह गिलानी साहब हों یا شیخ عبدالعزیز صاحب ہوں یا لون صاحب ہوں یا شبیر شاہ صاحب ہوں یا یاسین ملک صاحب ہوں، ان کے ساتھ میری ایک جس طرح ایک صرف فیملی ان کے ساتھ ایک رشتہ تھا، اور میں اسی تعلق کی وجہ سے، کشمیریوں کے تعلق کی وجہ سے 48 گھنٹے کے نوٹس کے اوپر میں ہندوستان سے نکالا گیا۔ میں ہیڈ آف، یہ بھی تاریخ کا ایک حصہ ہے کہ ایک ہیڈ آف مشن کو انہوں نے 48 گھنٹے کا نوٹس دیا اور ہندوستان سے نکل جانے کا کہا۔ نہ صرف یہ کہ انہوں نے ہندوستان سے نکل جانے کا کہا، بلکہ انہوں نے جو ڈریکونین ایک لا تھی جس کو ڈاکٹر غلام نبی فائز صاحب بہت اچھی طریقے سے جانتے ہیں، پریونشن آف ٹیررسٹ ایکٹ، پوٹا، تو پوٹا کے تحت انہوں نے میرے خلاف ایک دہشت گردی کا ایک کیس بھی رجسٹر کیا، اور وہ کیس آپ کو یہ جان کے حیرانگی بھی ہوگی کہ وہ ابھی تک چناکیا پوری پولیس اسٹیشن جو دلی میں ہے اس میں ایک لائیو کیس کے طور پہ ابھی بھی موجود ہے، اور اس کو انہوں نے ختم نہیں کیا ہوا۔ اس کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ میں کبھی اگر مجھے کسی کانفرنس کے سلسلے میں ہندوستان میں انوائٹ بھی کیا جاتا ہے تو میں وہاں پہ نہیں جا سکوں گا اس کیس کی وجہ سے۔
آپ ہمارے ساتھ بھی بیٹھے رہے
اور میں یہ سمجھتا ہوں کہ کشمیریوں نے اس کے لیے بہت ہی زیادہ وہ قربانیاں دی ہیں، اور یہ جو ایک 5 اگست 2019 کو ہندوستان نے جو ایکشن لیا تو اس سے ایک شاید تاثر یہ ابھرا، اور انہوں نے ساری دنیا میں شاید یہ تاثر نہیں کیا تھا، لیکن میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ میری تھوڑی سی جو سی ہے اس جذبہ آزادی میں وہ تھوڑی سی کنٹریبیوشن میری بھی ہے۔ میری کنٹریبیوشن اس طریقے سے بنتی ہے کہ میں نہ صرف جس طرح میں نے بتایا کہ میں جب وزارت خارجہ میں کشمیر کا ڈیسک بنا تو میں سب سے پہلا ڈائریکٹر اس کشمیر کے ڈیسک کا میں تھا، اور جب میری ہندوستان میں پوسٹنگ ہوئی تو کشمیریوں کے ساتھ ایک قریبی ایک تعلق واسطے کی وجہ سے، اور ڈاکٹر غلام نبی فائز صاحب یہاں پہ تشریف رکھتے ہیں، ان کو میں بہت ہی اس زمانے سے جانتا ہوں، 90 کی دہائی سے، اور غالباً یہ اس بات کو کی گواہی دیں گے کہ میری بہت ہی قریبی وابستگی رہی، چاہے وہ سید علی شاہ گیلانی صاحب ہوں یا شیخ عبدالعزیز صاحب ہوں یا لون صاحب ہوں یا شبیر شاہ صاحب ہوں یا یاسین ملک صاحب ہوں، ان کے ساتھ میری ایک جس طرح ایک صرف فیملی ان کے ساتھ ایک رشتہ تھا، اور میں اسی تعلق کی وجہ سے، کشمیریوں کے تعلق کی وجہ سے 48 گھنٹے کے نوٹس کے اوپر میں ہندوستان سے نکالا گیا۔ میں ہیڈ آف، یہ بھی تاریخ کا ایک حصہ ہے کہ ایک ہیڈ آف مشن کو انہوں نے 48 گھنٹے کا نوٹس دیا اور ہندوستان سے نکل جانے کا کہا۔ نہ صرف یہ کہ انہوں نے ہندوستان سے نکل جانے کا کہا، بلکہ انہوں نے جو ڈریکونین ایک لا تھی جس کو ڈاکٹر غلام نبی فائز صاحب بہت اچھی طریقے سے جانتے ہیں، پریونشن آف ٹیررسٹ ایکٹ، پوٹا، تو پوٹا کے تحت انہوں نے میرے خلاف ایک دہشت گردی کا ایک کیس بھی رجسٹر کیا، اور وہ کیس آپ کو یہ جان کے حیرانگی بھی ہوگی کہ وہ ابھی تک چناکیا پوری پولیس اسٹیشن جو دلی میں ہے اس میں ایک لائیو کیس کے طور پہ ابھی بھی موجود ہے، اور اس کو انہوں نے ختم نہیں کیا ہوا۔ اس کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ میں کبھی اگر مجھے کسی کانفرنس کے سلسلے میں ہندوستان میں انوائٹ بھی کیا جاتا ہے تو میں وہاں پہ نہیں جا سکوں گا اس کیس کی وجہ سے۔
آپ ہمارے ساتھ بھی بیٹھے رہے
اور میں یہ سمجھتا ہوں کہ کشمیریوں نے اس کے لیے بہت ہی زیادہ وہ قربانیاں دی ہیں، اور یہ جو ایک 5 اگست 2019 کو ہندوستان نے جو ایکشن لیا تو اس سے ایک شاید تاثر یہ ابھرا، اور انہوں نے ساری دنیا میں شاید یہ تاثر پیدا کرنے کی کوشش کی کہ شاید اس سے وہ جو ایک آزادی کی تحریک ہے وہ دب جائے۔ لیکن میں آپ کو یہ بتا دوں کہ یہ 1947 سے لے کے اب تک یہ کوئی پہلا واقعہ نہیں ہے کہ اس قسم کی حرکت انہوں نے کی ہو۔ انہوں نے 1988 کے اندر کوئی 6 لاکھ 7 لاکھ کے قریب فوج بھیجی، تو اس وقت بھی لوگ یہی کہہ رہے تھے ہندوستان کی اور ہندوستان کے جو سپورٹرز تھے کہ شاید اس سے وہ اپنا ہندوستان کی جو کشمیریوں کی جو جو جنگ آزادی ہے اس کو شاید وہ ختم کر سکے، لیکن اس کو ختم نہیں کر سکے۔ اور میں ایک واقعہ ضرور آپ کو سنانا چاہوں گا کہ میں جب ہندوستان میں میری تعیناتی تھی تو اس وقت ایک بہت مشہور کشمیری لیڈر ہے شبیر شاہ صاحب۔ تو شبیر شاہ صاحب وہاں پر جیل میں وہ تقریباً 25-30 سال گزارنے کے بعد جب ان کو رہائی ملی تو ان کو استقبال کے لیے جیل کے باہر ایک بڑا جمع غفیر تھا جو کہ وہاں پہ ابھر آیا، اور انہوں نے ان کو استقبال کیا اور ان کو نیلسن منڈیلا آف کشمیر کے نام سے پہچانا جاتا تھا۔ اور اس کے بعد ہم نے یہ سنا وہاں پر ایک جو تھی ڈپلومیٹک گوسپ کہ ہندوستانی وہ کوشش کر رہے ہیں کہ شبیر شاہ کے اوپر کوئی کام کرے اور ان کو اپنے ساتھ ملا لیں، تاکہ وہ ایک اگر شبیر شاہ صاحب حکومت کے ساتھ ہندوستان کے ساتھ مل جاتے ہیں تو اس سے وہ ایک آزادی کا جو ایک سینٹیمنٹ ہے وہ کافی حد تک وہ کم ہو جائے گا۔ تو شاید انسان ہے، انسان کے دل میں لالچ بھی آ جاتی ہے، تو یہ کافی زیادہ اس بات پہ جو سے ہے وہ نہ صرف ریومر بنی بلکہ اس میں تھوڑی بہت حقیقت بھی شاید شامل ہو گئی۔ تو اس کے بعد ایک دن ایسا ہوا کہ شبیر شاہ صاحب جنہوں نے الیکشن لڑنے کا اعلان بھی کر دیا، تو انہوں نے الیکشن کے قریب آ کے تو انہوں نے اچانک فیصلہ کیا کہ میں یہ الیکشن نہیں لڑوں گا، جو کہ ہندوستان کروا رہی ہے، اور یہ شیم الیکشن تھے اور میں اس شیم الیکشن کا کسی بھی طور پہ حصہ دار نہیں بن سکتا۔ اس کے بعد وہ دلی تشریف لائے اور میں نے ان سے ایک سوال کیا۔ میں نے کہا کہ شاہ صاحب ہم نے سنا تھا کہ آپ تو فیوچر چیف منسٹر ہوں گے کشمیر کے، تو یہ آپ نے آج جو پریس کانفرنس کی تو اس کا ہمیں تھوڑا سا بیک گراؤنڈ تو بتائیے۔ تو شبیر شاہ صاحب نے ایک بڑی اچھی خوبصورت بات کی۔ انہوں نے کہا کہ دیکھیں جناب، میں جب وہ اس جیل سے میری رہائی ہوئی تو اس کے بعد وہ جس طریقے سے مجھے میری پذیرائی ہوئی، میری کشمیریوں نے میرا استقبال کیا، تو اس کے بعد میں نے جب لوگوں کو تھوڑا سا اس بات کا شک گزرا کہ شاید میں ہندوستان کی طرف مائل ہو رہا ہوں، میں الیکشن لڑ رہا ہوں، تو اس کے بعد پہلے تو یہ ہوتا تھا کہ میں 1 گھنٹے کے نوٹس پہ دیتا تھا تو 10,000 کا مجمع اکٹھا کرنا میرے لیے مشکل کی بات نہیں تھی۔ لیکن جب سے میں نے الیکشن لڑنے کا اعلان کیا تب سے ہم ہفتہ ایک مہینے کی تیاری کرتے ہیں، اور جب جلسہ گاہ میں پہنچتے ہیں تو 50 سے زیادہ لوگ وہاں پہ موجود نہیں ہوتے۔ تو یہ ہے بیسیکلی کشمیر کا جذبہ، جو کہ میرے خیال میں ہندوستانیوں کو اس بات کی سمجھ نہیں آئی کہ کشمیر میں کا مزاج کیا ہے اور کشمیری کس قسم کی وہ سوچ رکھتے ہیں۔ اور میں ایک اور مثال دیتا ہوں کہ وہاں پر ایک کشمیری لیڈر تھے قاضی افضل صاحب، آپ کو گندربل کانسٹیٹوینسی سے، تو انہوں نے حالانکہ ان کا وہ تعلق نہیں تھا، وہ پرو انڈیا کشمیری لیڈر تھے، لیکن انہوں نے یہ کہا کہ میں یہ الیکشن میں کسی نہ کسی طور پہ ضرور جیتوں گا۔ تو انہوں نے اپنی الیکشن جو کیمپین تھی وہ چلائی اس نعرے کے اوپر کہ کشمیر بنے گا پاکستان۔ وہ جو اپنا نعرہ سید علی شاہ گیلانی صاحب لگایا کرتے تھے، اس نعرے کی بنیاد پہ انہوں نے اپنی الیکشن کیمپین چلائی اور وہ الیکشن وہ جیت گئے۔ تو میرے کہنے کا مقصد یہ ہے کہ کشمیریوں کا مزاج جو ہے وہ بہت ہی مختلف قسم کا مزاج ہے۔ میرا نہیں خیال کہ وہ نہ اس کو ہندوستان سمجھ سکا ہے اور نہ ہی اس کو دنیا کا کوئی اور شخص سمجھ سکا ہے۔ کشمیری کبھی بھی ہندوستانی نہیں ہو سکتے، اور ہندوستان کی اگر یہ کوشش ہے کہ وہ اپنے کشمیریوں کو اپنے ساتھ ملا لے گی، یا یہ ٹرائیفرکیشن جو انہوں نے کی ہے، یا جو 5 اگست 2019 کا انہوں نے جو قدم اٹھایا ہے، تو اس کی وجہ سے وہ شاید وہ اس کو اپنے ساتھ ملا لیں گے یا ڈیوائڈ کر سکیں گے ان کو، تو وہ کسی بھی صورت میں ممکن نہیں ہوگا۔ اور ایک آخری بات جو میں کرنا چاہوں گا وہ یہ ہے کہ اس قدم سے، اس ایلیگل انڈین ایکشن کی وجہ سے ہندوستان کو بہت زیادہ مشکلات بھی درپیش آئی ہیں، اور سب سے بڑی جو مشکل ان کو درپیش آئی ہے کہ پہلے ایک کشمیر ڈسپیوٹ تھا ہندوستان اور پاکستان کے درمیان کشمیر سے متعلق، جو کہ एक इंटरनेशनल डिस्प्यूट था, यूएन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल का डिस्प्यूट था और 1947 से चल रहा था। और ये एक सारी दुनिया को मालूम था कि ये एक इट्स ए मेजर डिस्प्यूट बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान। दिस इज द कोर इशू बिटवीन द टू कंट्रीज। बट देन देयर वाज ए लेसर नोन डिस्प्यूट बिटवीन चाइना एंड इंडिया। वो इस तरीके से कि जो चाइना के साथ और हिंदुस्तान के साथ जो अपने इख्तलाफात हैं, टेरिटोरियल डिस्प्यूट्स हैं, तो उसमें कुछ हिस्सा कश्मीर के साथ भी मिलता है। तो ये जो 5 अगस्त 2019 का जो उन्होंने कदम उठाया, जो गैर अखलाकी गैर कानूनी जो कदम उठाया, उससे उनकी जो है खित्ते के अंदर की जो कशीदगी जो सी है बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है। चाइना के साथ भी उनकी कशीदगी इसी 5 अगस्त 2019 के इस इलीगल एक्शन की वजह से ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है। और उससे खित्ते के तमाम जो ममालिक हैं जिनके साथ हिंदुस्तान के टेरिटोरियल डिस्प्यूट्स हैं, तो उनमें भी एक जो सी है एक बड़ी एक कंसर्न डेवलप हो गया है इस किस्म की। तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि कश्मीरी वो ना कभी पहले हिंदुस्तान का हिस्सा थे, ना है और ना ही आइंदा वो रहेगा। तो मेरा पूरा अपना यकीन कामिल है कि इंशाअल्लाह एक दिन कश्मीरी अपनी जो है अपनी जद्दोजहद आज़ादी में जरूर कामयाब होगी। थैंक यू सो मच।
Ladies and gentlemen, now I would request Honorable Shahryar Khan Afridi Sahib to come on stage and deliver his keynote address.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا اله الا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا اله الا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر. سبحان الله عما يشركون. والله الخالق البارئ المصور له الاسماء الحسنى. يسبح له ما في السماوات والارض والعزيز الحكيم. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. Excellency, someone who is very, very close to my heart, Ravian, my senior, my genuine team player, our ambassador, Dr. Asad Majid Khan Saab. I'm extremely honored, grateful for this opportunity, and it means a lot to me, to my Prime Minister, especially to the Parliament of Pakistan. Ambassador, former Ambassador Jalil Abbas Jilani Saab, sheer pleasure to interact with you, someone who is again a genuine, credible son of the soil who has delivered enormously at all levels. Then two stalwarts, those who have given their lives to that cause, which means a lot to me and to my motherland, Dr. Ghulam Nabi Mir Saab, President of World Kashmir Awareness Forum, and Dr. Ghulam Nabi Fai, Secretary General, World Kashmir Forum. Thank you, sir, for attending and for doing the needful at the highest level. Then Johnny Bhai, Zia Saab, Ziaul Hassan, then Rana Saab, Shahid Bhai, Shahroz, Stephanie, someone who has got a heart of gold. She believes in human values, she values humanity, whom I talked to 48 hours ago, and with that commitment that we will work for humanity. And here is she. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me and to my country, and especially to all those who are unheard. So you will become a voice of the unheard. Thank you for coming all the way and making it possible. And this interaction obviously will go a long, long way. Then Mr. Abid, thank you so much. You have proved your worth for engaging me with all those who can contribute enormously. And then my pride, my honor, my baseline, the unsung heroes of Pakistan, American, Pakistani citizens, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may the blessings of the divine power be upon all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is indeed once again an honor for me and for the Parliament of Pakistan that we are interacting with those who matter the most to my motherland. And when it comes to Kashmir, which is not only the baseline of my motherland, and apart from that commitment which was given by our father of the nation, that when it comes to Kashmir, and kya tha कि Kashmir शहर रख है. So ladies and gentlemen, when we talk of Kashmir, we as humans who are witnessing the contemporary affairs where might is right is the order of the day, where humanity, in spite of tall claims, is at the receiving end. Ladies and gentlemen, the baseline of all the prosperous world, the movers and shakers, every religion, every constitution, every stakeholder is humanity. But what we are witnessing, humanity in the name of religion, in the name of nationalities, in the name of regions, in the name of faith, in the name of trade, in the name of personal interest and priorities, have been once again bullied to the core. So ladies and gentlemen, what made me to be here? Why that role which was given to those stalwarts who done a remarkable job when it comes to parliamentary democracy or to the Parliament of Pakistan. Those stalwarts who had their own recognition. And then Kashmir caused today where misperception and overall approach is as such that the world is least bothered what is happening, where more than 8 million people are deprived of their due rights. No one is willing to become their voice. And that particular region, which has become a flashpoint for the entire globe. So ladies and gentlemen, the Parliament of Pakistan, which is the voice of the nation, like any other parliament, this committee was formed in 1993, and the sole objective of that committee was not only oversight, rather to do the needful through parliamentary democracy, to reach out to those through whom we can achieve our desired objective. So ladies and gentlemen, my Honorable Prime Minister, when after 5th of August 2019, and prior to that, his commitment in itself is known to one and all, and the Honorable Ambassador has already mentioned that, so I don't want to go into details, but 5th August 2019, it is not only, I won't use diplomatic terminologies, I'm an effective. Yes, I need to value norms and values, but nothing is more important than humanity for me. 5th of August 2019 was a slap on the face of United Nations, the prosperous world, those who believe in human values. It was a message loud and clear that those commitments stands nothing for them. And in spite of that, what we are witnessing, still the world is mum, and personal agendas, interest, economy, trade is more important over humanity. This is something which is alarming to the core. The history repeats, God forbid, might repeat itself. We need to go back and explore history. What happened after Versailles Treaty? Why League of Nations failed miserably? What happened to Germany? And what Germany did later on? When humanity was bleeded to the core. Prior to 1945, the whole globe and humanity witnessed that, those horrific scenes. How can we forget as humans? Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Why Allah in the Holy Scripture in Quran would mention everything about Qawm Aad, Qawm Samud, Qawm Namrud? Go through any historian, they would keep on guiding and recommending certain roadmaps which will be for your betterment, and the world at times or most of the time try to learn from the past. But what has happened? Why the world is silent and not willing to learn? So ladies and gentlemen, Kashmir is basically a victim of that mindset which has their own priorities. And the world needs to know that time is running out for a reason. Imagine a leader who is challenging humanity, interfaith harmony, and who is asking all those who are at the helm of the affairs from global perspective that I am going to become an avatar. God forbid, मैं खुदा बनने जा रहा हूँ. Political, सियासी और एक ऐसा खुदा जो हिंदुस्तान को गाइड करेगा. We are not against India, we are not against the people of India. We are not against any faith, any human on the face of the earth. We are against that mindset which is polarizing humanity. You know what is his approach? His approach is, he has introduced certain laws, and one of his approaches, Ghar Wapsi program, come back home. He is asking more or less 500 million people of India of different faiths, those who are minorities or lower caste Hindus, Dalits, that you were forcefully converted into Christianity, into Islam, into other religions, into Sikhism, now convert, otherwise leave India. Which sort of message is this? Imagine you have got millions of refugees and stateless, and they are being catered by the third world country. 85% of them are being catered by the third world countries. The global dynamics change. The moment they hear that refugees or the influx of the refugees can haunt their future. So ladies and gentlemen, my Prime Minister and the Parliament of Pakistan, where we have members of both the houses, we decided that we need to reach out to those who matter the most, and through parliamentary democracy, along with Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with all the key stakeholders, with professionals, reach out and sensitize, aware the global key stakeholders, civil society, human rights organizations, parliamentarians, political parties, congressmen, women, senators, the youth, academia, professionals, political activists, philanthropists. Reach out to them and make them realize that mutual assured destruction ability can play havoc with the entire global community. So ladies and gentlemen, the day I landed here, I've been reaching out to all, and the sole objective is once again to make everyone realize that we need to learn and learn fast. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine when we talk of academia, Indian narrative is the order of the day. Digital front, cultural front, you name it, and Indians are more or less controlling everything. In the name of Facebook, Twitter, social media forums, in the name of freedom of expression, the moment you become a voice of the unheard, you are asked to remove content or your ID is blocked. Similarly, in any capacity, when you don't find an appropriate forum, what needs to be done? You need to do the needful through proper mechanism. Reach out to everyone. So ladies and gentlemen, we have decided as a nation and the parliament to engage with all the key stakeholders and make them realize that now this is the time, because if we include Russia, half of the globe population lives in South Asia. 4 countries have got nuclear deterrence. And those policies were, for example, after revoking 35A and 370 from the Indian Constitution, it has become an international armed conflict. International humanitarian crises are taking place. War crimes are being committed. You cannot use pellet guns against animals. They are using against innocent boys and girls. Rape has become a tool. Mass rape is the order of the day. Half widows. Married women are clueless about their husbands, whether they are alive or not, for decades. Concentration camps where children of different age group are thrown, then the number is more than 13,000. And the mantra is that we are working on their brain. And similarly, prisoner of conscience. We just heard a name, Nelson Mandela. Dr. Qasim Fattu, since 29 years, is behind the bars. Husband of Asian Darabi, she's also behind the bars. Without any rhyme and reason, they are throwing people behind the bars, and then demographic terrorism in the shape of more than 4.4 million people from different parts of India. They are brought to IOJK and they are being given domicile, nationality, and they are settled. So demographic terrorism is the order of the day and the world is silent. EU Disinfo Lab exposed India. They were not exposed by any Islamic country or by Pakistan or any media house of Pakistan. They were exposed by EU. Since 15 years, through 750 labs, and the number of the countries are 115, they were spreading fake news. So ladies and gentlemen, information terrorism, demographic terrorism, and then cultural terrorism. Heaven on earth, Kashmir, tourism, the baseline of Kashmir, their artisan, their art, their identity, their jobs, everything has been taken away. And imagine in COVID phase 4, 1 ventilator for 7,800 Kashmiris, 1 doctor for 4,000 Kashmiris. And worst of all, they have been deprived of everything. They cannot move according to their own will and wish. So now, when this is the ground reality and the world remains silent, And if the world is of the opinion that they are still waiting to witness such scenes when a Syrian child was found lying dead on the beach, on the sea, are we here to witness again such horrific scenes? What we are up to? And then when we, as a sovereign independent state, my motherland Pakistan, when we become a voice for the unheard, the world need to realize our role, our contribution. Since 54, 55, Cito Cento, Cold War, the peaceful coexistence, then Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, the after effects of that, 9/11, even up recently, evacuating different people of different nationalities from Afghanistan. We have been contributing enormously under UN for peacekeeping. All those in African countries where violence and conflict was the order of the day, we came forward. We are a first line of defense against all sorts of drugs. 2,611 kilometers, our law enforcing agencies, our civil armed forces, anti-narcotics force, every household, every Pakistani suffered enormously. And then the tag which was associated with my passport, with my nationality, where we were all together treated in such a manner which in itself is a scar on my face. I was undermined at all levels. Though I was protecting your future, your coming generations, I am fighting your war, given more than 85,000 lives, $150 billion losses. Our children were slaughtered. Our religious places were targeted. In the name of humiliating Pakistan, Christians, Hindus, Sikhs were targeted just to undermine sectarianism. It's a gift of 1979 Soviet invasion on Afghanistan. We are catering millions of refugees, unprecedented in human history. You can't see any recognition, any reward. And still Pakistan as a resilient nation is constantly contributing. On the other side, the role of India is known to the entire globe. So now, through effective and thorough professional approach, we have got a very dynamic diplomatic missions, blessed enormously, our proud American Pakistani diaspora along with Kashmiri diaspora. They've got all the due ingredients. They are doing a fabulous job. Your commitment is unprecedented. You are rewarded. Allah has rewarded and this country has provided you a platform where equality, liberty, freedom of voice, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and above all, opportunity to excel. And now you have gone to that level that now it is mandatory upon you. Please convey to every single Kashmiri and Pakistani here. You need to become the system, become a part of this system. Become, register your votes. Either you support Republic or not Democrats. You need to realize that through engagement and through political vision, you can turn the table upside down. You need to you can sensitize those parliamentarians, congressmen, congresswomen, senators. Then in this political process, by becoming a part of the political process, you can ask the political parties so that they can let you know what their stance is on human rights. And only then, in the name of interfaith harmony. For example, all we will be hearing is, initially it was Millennium Development Goal, now it is Sustainable Development Goals. All we have been hearing to do more. So the world needs to know that if you are asking us to do more, what is your responsibility? Why don't you contribute so the world can become peaceful, more meaningful? In the name of religions, in the name of nationalities, in the name of so many things, humanity has been polarized. So ladies and gentlemen, the sole objective, once again, is now the time has come. And we have decided, since we have competed with India in every sport, as a neighbor, we value every neighbor. We value everything. We cherish Indian music, culture, film, you name it, and we value them because we believe in humanity. We believe in human values. We have got that taste which is based on pure commitment and recognition. But when it comes to the voice of the unheard, we will make sure that we reach to one and all to make the globe realize and show the true face of the present leadership of India, so the world can take appropriate measures to protect their own loved ones, to protect their own interests. Let not allow any state, any leader to play with the lives of the entire globe. And this commitment of ours has now gone to a level where professionals from academia, digital front, cultural front, lawfare, youth ambassadors, human rights organization, civil society, they have joined hands with us. We are reaching out to Harvard, Oxford, Stanford, Eton, MIT, you name it, and we are doing the needful. We are reaching out to Pope. We are reaching out to every responsible stakeholder. We have made it a commitment now that through the role of Parliament and parliamentary democracy, we will reach out to all those who can make a difference. So ladies and gentlemen, as a responsible stakeholder, as a father, let me give you a brief introduction of mine. I was heading a multinational company in Germany as a CEO, living a very luxurious life. And then one telephone call changed my life. Lost my brother, my father, and my mother. Miscreants. Hundreds of our family members were slaughtered. We have got orphans. Imagine those who were buried, their dead bodies were taken out and they were hanged. Our loved ones were slaughtered and their skulls and heads were placed on their chest. And the message was, the writing on the wall was, not to touch him or her for 72 hours. Imagine in human history you would have never heard of internally displaced persons. Millions of our women, old age people, they have left their homes for your betterment, for the global peace. And if still you are misperceiving Pakistan, then I believe you are asking for trouble, because Pakistan is committed. Pakistan Army, Pakistan intelligence agencies, civil armed forces, every stakeholder of Pakistan, then the Parliament of Pakistan, all the political parties, civil military, we are on the same page, and the message is, let's hear the bell is ringing, calling us to the bright future. Let's join and unite together and prove it to our coming generations that Pakistan will become the voice of the unheard. Pakistan will become an example for the entire global community. Our commitment will remain the same, and inshallah Pakistan will become a feather in the cap of the global community. And inshallah, bismillah, those who are undermining our resolve, those who are misperceiving Pakistan, they need to realize now and need to hear that we have said it loud and clear that now we are a partner in peace. We will promote peace, no matter what. We need to sacrifice for that. And in the end, please become a part of this team, which is known as Team Humanity, Human Dignity, and then to become the voice of the unheard is our ultimate objective. उर्दू में कतील शफाई साहब का एक शेर है कि दुनिया में उससे मुनाफिक नहीं कोई जो जुल्म तो सहता है बगावत नहीं करता। और अहमद फराज साहब मेरे कोहाट के बहुत बड़ी जिनको बड़े सगीर में बहुत वैल्यू किया जाता है। कुछ अशार इस तरह हैं, एम्बेसडर साहब आप वो कहते हैं कि कैसे गुजर गई है जवानी ना पूछिए, दिल रो रहा है मेरी कहानी ना पूछिए। फराज तेरे इश्क में हम कैसे लुट गए, ये बात हो चुकी है पुरानी ना पूछिए। आखिर में गौर तलब डूबते डूबते कश्ती को उछाला दे दो, डूबते डूबते कश्ती को उछाला दे दो, मैं नहीं कोई और साहिल पे उतर जाएगा। We have enormous expectations from American, Pakistani, Kashmiri diaspora. In this initiative and in this struggle for surely, solely for humanity, we want your support. It's my humble submission to you and to your loved ones, especially to the youth. Become a voice for them through social media. Become vloggers, bloggers. Promote humanity. Try to play bridging roles. Contribute in the best interest of the globe. And as a team, we can do wonders. We have the ability to do the needful, inshallah. Long live humanity. Long live Kashmir. Pakistan, हमेशा हमेशा के लिए जिंदाबाद. Thank you so much.